don't have to live anybody else's story. Sometimes people make it seem like you have to have certain prerequisites or a crazy life story in order to be successful in this world. But the truth is, you really don't. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you have or don't have, what you lack, what you have too much of. But all you need to have is faith in God, an undying passion for what you do, for what you choose to do in this life.
Hey, good morning. Sunday. Should have think today like the 17th of January, man. It's about 10:30 a.m. Just getting up, man. About to get the day started, man. I'll show you a day in the life of P. Cherry. Man, you know how we always gotta start the day off right, man. Gotta start the day off right. Get into the good word, man. You know what I'm saying? So we start the day off right. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all start y'all's day with God, man. Try to read the scripture, pray, meditate, man. Start your day off right with God, man, and everything else will just kind of fall into place. You feel me? All right, we're gonna get reading this word, then I'm gonna stretch, and we're gonna do some condition. All right. First, gotta take care of first things first, man. All right. All right, about to get this work in with my young bull, Montrell Little, played for Simmons College, 6'6". Wing player, 20 points, 9 rebounds a game, you know what I'm saying? How we do. Ron time. What that nigga be talking about now? Nothing.
For some reason, I was expecting the door to close behind me. It's odd.
That's pretty good price for some Yeezys in white, man.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad at all.
But you don't want any Yeezys.
Exactly. I like them though. Kanye jacking it up, man. I can't even rock your sneakers, bro, because you can wild out.
Adidas.
I mean, I ain't coming here for these. I just want to see like. That's what Tony take out the phones. 30. Yeah, the ones y'all had on Instagram. So right up my job, you grab them up. I got those right there. Those ones. These right here.
I had some like this, and I took acetone, and I wiped all that junk off that shit. And
I did that. I had a pair of you remember the asteroid pair that was switched on the side? I did that too.
I had the, I can't remember what they're called, but they had the red on it, and it was right before these came out.
The metallic red ones?
No, let me show you. I actually had to put you on my
You took all
Instagram.
this shit off?
Yeah, with acetone. Acetone.
Yeah.
Because it's just,
paint off of it, I guess.
it's like I got it on my Instagram.
Like, yeah, because I had the asteroid pair, and my brother took acetone and made it like completely white. It was pretty cool.
That's crazy. Oh, shit.
Yeah, look.
Oh.
Yeah. Ignorant right there. Yes.
That's cool.
How do you read that?
Oh, the thermal map phones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had this ugly ass thermal map on it. I was like, that's whack. That's whack. It took me about a day.
I'm surprised. These go for like
Super low.
Nah, now they go for like $380.
Really? Because when I did my phones, those were, it was either between that or I was like, I want the red. And I mean, I got these for like 75, but I have a smaller foot size than him. So
Well, I guess brand new ones with the box on like StockX are like they go for like.
oh yeah, I seen them on.
Which is like I'm surprised they go for that much.
Because they're not that fly. Like they.
I can't remember the last time I sold a pair of.
We here, we back, you know what I'm saying? Workout number 2 for today. All right, I'm gonna start off. Gonna get some stretching in. All right, gonna get some shots up, get a couple of weights in. So you gotta be dedicated. I'm getting tired after training a couple of players today. You know how you do. You just keep working. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to get better. Just trying to get better every day. All right. Tight. Sucks being old. Keep hurting.
How old are you?
I don't know. People don't even know all that. 37. Young boy still can't beat me in one-on-one in the half court. Now we got to run up and down the court. That's when we start to have some problems. That's what we're going to work on, trying to get back into game shape, pro level shape. You know, I mean, I feel like I could play at a high level, at the pro level again. I just got to get in shape, man. And shoot, I think if I can get myself back, I can play until I'm 45, man. It's just easier said than done. But we're gonna chase it just like anything else, man. With God, all things are possible. I know my stretch, my flexibility, so alright. We're gonna do the best we can and work it back. Alright. Yeah, too much. See?
And we out here, man, about to get this work in. You know what I'm saying? Day 2 to come back. We about to get it go. I'm about to do some conditioning this morning. Get some shots up. My focus right now is and obviously stretching. Is stretching and conditioning. Is probably the 2 biggest weaknesses. If I had more time, I'd try to get to some weights, but I gotta go into the office today. Last week of work. Just can't wait to be done with this so I can focus a little bit more on the basketball stuff, man. So, yeah, man, we about to just go in here and just get this work done, all right? Be in the gym with my young boy Leo, all right, getting this work in. You know how we do. Just got that fresh haircut, man, you know what I'm saying? Get ready for this weekend. AAU trials, gotta stay fresh, you feel me? All right, good job. One more. Keep working, break it down. Let's get this work. Good job, my man. All right. Well, this is our first day of AAU trials, Kentucky Swarm out in Lexington. I've been blessed to be program director. Got a good turnout. We'll go out there and have a good time, all right?
MVP! MVP!
Quick, tell me your name, tell me your school, tell me how many points per game you average, man. Y'all sleeping on my man right here. Go ahead.
Sean Markham, Michael Christian School, I average about 35 points a game.
That's it. Number one scorer in Kentucky, most slept on guard. But we're gonna wake y'all up, man. You know how we do. We make the stars shine, man. How you feel after this first workout?
Pretty good.
Tired, my man. Just all right now.
Three, two, one.
I know you know some folk you always gotta hate. Why do you look like a hater?
So I started playing basketball. My story in the game, I started playing basketball around 9 or 10 years old. I was raised by my grandparents, so they didn't know a lot of people their age that had kids my age. So basketball was something that I used as an opportunity to make friends. I remember my grandma bought me a basketball hoop in my backyard. It was a real nice hoop. So I'd be out there playing by myself, and there was these kids on the other street over playing, but you can see in their backyard. They were playing in their backyard on the next street over. And it was like 4 or 5 of them, 6 of them, but they was playing on a trait. So I'd watch them play and play games with each other all day, and they'd watch me just, shoot around and play on my hoop by myself until eventually we said something to each other, and they ended up coming over to my yard to play on my hoop since, I had a nice hoop. But they were older than me, and they had been playing much longer than me. So they would play, and I wouldn't even get picked to play because I wasn't good enough. And that was the start of a burning desire inside of me to want to be great. I made a decision even at 11, 12 years old that I was going to work and practice so hard that I would never have that feeling again of not being good enough to be on the court and not being picked. And one by one, I became better than all my friends, even the ones that were older than me. And, that was just something that, I had a chip on my shoulder that I used to kind of motivate me to get through was, and also because, again, a lot of the players that ended up, the good players from my community, they kind of everyone grew up together, and I was kind of out the loop because I was raised my grandparents or whatever. So I had to fight for everything. I had to fight for respect. A lot of people doubted me. A lot of people didn't believe in me, and I had a lot of haters. I'll go into more detail about a lot of things I went through from that perspective. But that, was what I started doing and just developed a real strong work ethic, a real strong desire to work hard to outwork everyone to be the best. And I ended up going to playing for one of the best high schools in the city of Boston, East Boston High School. Won the state championship '99. I played with a lot of great players, one being Will Blaylock, who ended up getting drafted by the Detroit Pistons the year after the Pistons won their last championship. I think that was around 2007. From there, I ended up in New Hampshire. I was staying with my father. I ended up playing in Manchester, New Hampshire at a school called Trinity for a real famous coach named Frank Alosa, whose son Matt Alosa was one of the top players that ever come out of New Hampshire. Matt Bonner, who played many years for the San Antonio Spurs, was another player that Frank Alosa coached. And on my team, I had a real famous guy that everyone knows now as maybe the top basketball trainer in the world, Chris Brickley. He was actually my backup point guard. He was a freshman when I was a senior, and him and Matt Bonner's little brother, Luke Bonner, who, played professionally as well. They're the ones who kind of saw me in the gym at the Manchester YMCA and told the coaches about me and got me into school there. And things didn't kind of work out. And I'll go into more detail about that story as we go through you know, these vlogs, man. But you know, I ended up then going on to bounce around a couple of JUCOs and in smaller schools. But then finally, I ended up at walking on at Coppin State University. Played with a kid named Taiwan McKee from South Philly, man, who still plays professionally. One of the best players I've ever played with. Would try to play him one-on-one and just couldn't really beat him, man. He was just a really talented kid. I think he was with the Wizards Summer League at one point and plays overseas as well. And then I bounced around, you know, a bunch of minor leagues, ABA, EBA, so, you know, some overseas tours. You know, played a little bit, couple of G League camps. I was there, made a couple of G League camps. So I've been around the game. And you know, from a player perspective, I played with or against, you know, a lot of great players, man. And you know, I wanted to be able to kind of give back, man. You know, as things happen in my life, man. And I look back now, I see how God used basketball as such a fuel in my life, but also to teach me things and to humble me in many ways. And you know, I grew up in the church. My grandmother was a Sunday school teacher, so I always knew about God. And you know, I had at one point become so obsessed with chasing basketball becomes an idol, man. And the reason why I titled this vlog Point God is because, like, yeah, I play point guard, talking about being a point guard, but really the whole point of my pursuit of basketball, man, was God was using it to bring me closer to him, man. And the whole point of all I do now through the game is really to glorify God, man, to glorify and to let people know about Jesus Christ and let people know that he loves all of us, and that if we turn from our ways and our messed up thoughts and ideas and outlooks and renew our mind and start to look at things the way that he does and live all the way that he wants us to, that he can do, you know, mighty things, man, that he can give us all the things that we thought were impossible for us to fulfill within our own power. You know, I've worked so hard within my own power to make it, and I never did. But through the power of God, he's been able to bring me so many places and allowed me, but more importantly, allowed me to influence others in a positive way and allow others' dreams to come true. I mean, I've been able to work and train so many players, so many great players. You know, one of the guys that I work with closely and who actually was living with me is the guy, they call him G5, Guy Oliver, one of the top 10 dunkers in the entire world, man. And, you know, we'll get into more about his story in another vlog, man. But, you know, Will Rainey is a kid who played Division III, walked on last year at the University of Louisville, trained Elijah Fisher, who's a top ranked player in the class of 2023, I believe. Got a kid, Charles Coleman, played at East Carolina. Jalen Farrell broke the 3-point record at his junior college this past season. Montrell Little, who just finished as senior at Simmons, was one of the most outstanding players in his conference, man. And you know, the list goes on to players that I even on the high school level right now that are really excelling. You know, both not only here, but players that I've worked with back home in Boston when they was in high school or in college, and now are playing professionally and chasing their dreams, and now players that I've trained who are now trainers. And you know, I just hope that I inspired, man, by simply just not giving up and chasing my dreams and ultimately trusting God and giving my dreams to God and let him use the talent that he's given me ultimately to glorify him, man. And because that's really what it's about. I mean, the whole point is God, man. And that's why we named this blog Point God, man. It's about basketball, but, you know, the point is God, man. And you know, I just want him to get all the glory of everything that comes out of this, man. You feel me?